Hey guys, welcome to the video. So in today's video I'm going to be making a serving board. I'm just going to import an image here that I'm going to laser engrave onto the board itself. The image I just purchased from Etsy. Now I already know what size I need this relative to the size of the board that I'm actually making. So I'm just going to make sure that aspect ratio is locked, and I'm going to set that to 300 millimeters wide or 30 centimeters. And it's already in red because that's my engraved color, so I'm just going to go ahead. I've also set the origin for the laser in the center there, so I can just center up the point on the board, and that way I'll know it'll be in the middle when I go to laser that. So I'm just going to go ahead here and I'm going to save this. I'll just save this down in my Lightburn file. Route. I'll change that to the name of the design. So I'll go ahead and save that, and then we'll jump over and cut up the board. You can see, actually I might go in and change that. I was going to say, you can see here the speed. I've got that set to 200 at the moment. I'm just going to drop that down to 180 at 35% power. So you can also go in here and you can change your engraving settings, but mine's just, I'm just going to do the whole thing in one go. So I'm just going to leave that at that. And basically just go in and resave that over the file that I just did. And then we'll jump over to SAW and have a look. Alright, so here we are at the table saw. Basically the material that I'm going to be using is called spotted gum. This is just a panel that I bought from the store. It's already 40 centimeters wide, and my size of the board that I'm going to be doing today is 40 centimeters by 50 centimeters. Being that this is already 40 centimeters wide, I'm just going to go in and dock that to 50 centimeters, or 500 millimeters. So I'll just get this set up. And I'll set up the fence, set that to 50, and I'm just going to go through and dock that, and then we'll jump into Easel and set up the juice route that runs around the board. Alright guys, so now we're in Easel. I've got the board cut to size, and that's what the page layout is here. So it's 40 centimeters high by 50 centimeters wide. And I'm just going to go ahead and import a square into the page, and I'm going to center that to the material. So the white background there is the size of the actual cutting board that I'm doing. And as you can see there, it looks like it's going to cut that out. So it's basically just a matter of clicking on that cut and then going down and changing it to cut on line. And it's just basically going to route that out. And as you can see there, at the moment I've got this set to 12.7 millimeters, which really is irrelevant because I'm only going to go 4 millimeters deep. So I'm going to change this here to 4 mil. And as you can see there, the 12 mil cove bit that I'm going to be using is just going to run around. Basically, it's called a juice route. So basically when you put your meat on there, it's going to have somewhere for the juice to flow into. So yeah, I can do a quick simulation of that just to show you basically how that's going to work. So setting my 0 point in that bottom left hand corner, basically it's going to just move up and go around and route out that line. That one's pretty basic. So yeah, once that's done, we can then take it over to the laser. So we'll jump over to the CNC now, and we'll get this set up. So this is the cove bit that I was talking about earlier on. So we'll get that into the trimmer, and we'll get it set up ready to go. Alright guys, so I actually have to apologise for this one. I actually forgot to hit record when I started doing this part of the video. So I'll just run this part out and basically show you. But this is that cove bit, so it's a 12mm wide cove bit, and it's going down 4mm, so one pass on the CNC machine. And it basically is, as I said before, it's a juice route. So basically when you've got your meat on the board, all the juice sort of flows into that moat, I guess you would call it, and basically sits there. So that's the reasoning behind doing the groove around the outside of the board. Yeah, so I'll let this just sort of finish up here, and then I'll just give you a bit more of a look at what I've done. And then basically we'll go from here, give it a little bit of a sand just to clean up all the burrs on the ends, and then we'll take that over to the laser machine and we'll start engraving that logo. So I'll just move this gantry out of the way and just basically give you a bit of a look. So again, with this, there's no set way of doing it. I just kind of know where to set it, but as long as you've got your 0 point in that bottom left hand corner, and everything's lined up and square, then you shouldn't have any problems with that. This one actually came out really good. Nice sharp bit, so very happy with that. Alright, so now it's just time to run around with a bit of a sanding pad here. I'm just going to take off those burrs from the route. As I said, the bit's nice and sharp, so it actually did quite good, so it doesn't need too much sanding, but nonetheless, with everything, you do need to give it a bit of just a quick bit of a sand there. And then I'll run over it with the orbital as well, just to make sure it's all nice and done, and just give a bit of an arris on all the edges of the board where I've cut it on the saw. So once this is done, we'll jump over to the laser machine, and we'll get that engraving going. Alright guys, now that that's all laser engraved, we're just going to give it a bit of a wipe down with a wet rag. A lot of people do wash these and things like that, but you know, each to their own, I guess. I'm just going to get a bit of a damp cloth here and give it a bit of a wipe down, let that dry, and then I'll go through and give it an oil front and back. That's pretty much how it's come off the laser. Some good detail in there. Pretty happy with that. Alright, so now that that's all nice and dry, I'm just going to pop these paint lids under here and set it up on there. And I'm going to go through and give it a bit of an oil. So this is the oil that I use. It's Feast Watson. It's just basically a tung oil. A lot of people use linseed oil and things like that, but this is just what I prefer to use. So I'll go ahead and oil the back of this up, and then I'll flip it over and oil the front, and it'll be pretty much finished. So yeah, good one. And that's it guys, hope you enjoyed the video.